What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. Bye, singing dog. Bye, goal.
I pronounce you.
Bye, wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Blog Talk Radio.
Well, hey, everybody, it's Tuesday morning, or I should say Tuesday afternoon, and I don't know about you guys, but I still have my kids at home, and I am amazingly happy that I still have my kids at home, at least for 2 more days anyways. So, yes, it's a Tuesday. I want to start off by saying to everybody that I'm sure that the whole world knows this already or has expressed these sentiments, but, of course, all of us are praying and hoping and trying to put together donations, supplies, just about anything for the state of Texas. Clearly, unless you live under a rock, you already see, of course, that the city is literally bombarded by inches and inches and inches of rain. People are literally being evacuated from houses, homes, businesses, losing jobs, et cetera, you name it. So it's vitally important that we help. I've reached out to a number of different people. Hopefully sometime this week I'll be able to post up information and or speak about it on the show in terms of places that are willing to help, organizations that need help, places in general that need donations, what type of items, et cetera. So if you're listening and you happen to know anybody who's either in need or know of an organization that's working with other people or a means or a way for us to get donations to them or just anything in general relative to Texas, either direct message me on Facebook because I'm still seeing that even though I am quiet and or off for the moment. I'm still reading my messages. So please feel free to go ahead and send me a personal message. You can send me in here through the show at Blog Talk Radio or on my Synth Chat Corner webpage, or I should say, Facebook page or website. Also, my direct email is cin4251@gmail.com. And send that to me direct through email, and I'll make sure that I expedite the information because, like I said, I have a show today. I have a show tomorrow. I have Joanna Cassidy's show on Thursday, and then Friday, Nagini Tour is coming on the show, who's a musician from New York City. Very excited about that. So I have 4 opportunities this week to talk about any kind of organizations or places, so please funnel the information to me if you would. Anyone that's listening in that's active on the film festival circuit or that is taking part in my film festival, look out for your email today. That's a bunch of different clarifications and information, and we're doing a little shake-up on how we handle the festival this year, so I'm excited and nervous all at the same time. So anybody who's interested in listening, please go ahead and check that out. Second of all, we have I want to make note of this before I forget. Again, thank you very much to any and all individuals who've been sending condolences, kind thoughts, words, sentiments. It's very much appreciated. I'm not purposely trying to ignore you, I assure you. I just not really ready to talk to anybody yet. Obviously, hence the break from social media and otherwise. So please know that it's not you or anything you've done, said, or otherwise. And I'm certainly not trying to ignore anyone. I'm just I'm trying to get it together. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm terribly excited for today's show because, first of all, I've met this gentleman very briefly in New York City. Didn't get to spend enough time with him, unfortunately, but now I get him on my program, so I get to spend as much time as I want with him. So we get to talk about the salon, we get to talk about his adventures, we get to talk about New York City, so I'm very excited. So before I get him on the line, one more quick reminder, don't forget, everybody, tomorrow, my show with Jason Hartless is 4 o'clock Central Standard Time. Most of you may not necessarily know him because he's a 22-year-old drummer. The coolest part about him, one of the coolest parts, not only is he helping to work to create a music label, which I think is totally exciting, he's got his own DVD learning how to rock the drums with him. He also teaches children, and one other little side note is he just finished his 2nd tour with the legendary Ted Nugent. So I'm excited to talk to him about all of his endeavors. But today we're all about Nigel and all about the salon. So let's get him on the line and start talking. Is this Nigel?
Yeah, hi. How are you?
Hi. I'm okay, but you sound so far away. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sorry. I'm having a little bit of a connection issue, but I can sound I hear you much better now. How are you?
Okay, I can hear you. As long as you can hear me, that's really what I'm concerned about. And, of course, obviously we want people that are listening in to be able to listen to you, too. So, hi. Here you are again. You're all the way in New York City, and here I am. So we have so much to talk about. But one of the biggest questions I have for you is this. Are you ready? It's a very important question.
Sure.
I was researching you, and I saw you just got to see Lady Gaga. So I got to get the details on this. I'm so jealous and so excited. Tell me. How was it?
Well, it was absolutely fantastic. It was my birthday over the weekend, so I had some very generous friends that took me along, and we had fantastic. Yeah, we had fantastic seating. We got to mingle a little bit after backstage and stuff, so it was really cool. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, so it was a fun experience. The concert was amazing. She performed for 2 hours. It was a little late start. It was after 10, but it was really cool. It was really awesome. Yeah, so great experience. Cool. I think she's performing again in New York tonight. So if anybody's out there and can snag a ticket, you should go. It's well worth watching. It was an amazing show.
Yeah, I saw that and I was so jealous. I'm like, oh my God, I hate him and love him all at the same time. I'm like, how amazing is that? But no, I mean, I've looked at you and researched you enough to know that it's almost like you work hard and then play harder, because I've seen some of the different stuff that you've done, and we'll get into that obviously. But I want to start off, I didn't realize that your homeland was actually Ireland. So you're really originally from Ireland to begin with?
Yeah, I was born in Ireland. I was educated there. I started my hairdressing training there, God, so long ago, it's hard to remember. But I originally started out there. I moved to London in the early 90s to continue my education in hairdressing, and then I moved to New York in 1994. Yeah, August, actually, Sunday was my 23rd year anniversary here. So, yeah, this is a big month for me. This weekend.
Oh, I bet it is. Oh, my gosh, this is so exciting. Well, we want to talk about that.
Yeah. Great.
Obviously, first of all, when you're in Ireland, that's a whole other country and a whole other way of living. And I saw all those different pictures, and I thought to myself, one of the things I wanted to ask about is, because you're in hair and you work in a salon, obviously, what is style and fashion like over there versus like when you go visit Ireland at home and then you come here? Is it a vast difference? Like, is it a culture shock to you in terms of how people do their hair and other things?
Not really. Ireland is extremely westernized, obviously. I mean, with the age of internet and television and social media, I mean, something goes up online and it's all around the world in seconds. I think hair culturally and fashion tend to follow the UK more and Europe, but there's definitely I find a huge American influence, especially when it comes to fashion and the hairstyles, and so it all kind of blends in. I think that sometimes the technique and style of how things are achieved in Europe and in Ireland and the UK is quite different to here, but they have a very high standard of fashion, and it definitely follows suit with what's going on, in like New York and LA, and as I said, I mean, it follows very close to the trends of London, Paris, Milan. So it's fairly well rounded.
Gotcha. Now, I know you used to work back when you were learning, obviously, and you're not where you are right now, clearly. You had studied and worked with Vidal, Sassoon, and Toni and Guy. So I have a specific question about that. Those are some big names and some big leaders in the industry. So when you look at some of the things that you've learned from them specifically, and like some of the people listening to my show today who are either first getting into the field or only been working there for a while, tell us some of the stuff that you took from your tutelage that you still utilize today. Maybe one or two big things that you got from your mentoring that you still apply today that are helpful.
Well, the foundation, a solid foundation is key to everything, right? So when I was training back in the early 90s, you had to become a well-rounded stylist, and especially in Europe, you have to, basically it's an apprenticeship. You study for 4 years. So before you ever touch a paying client's head, you have to be qualified in every aspect of hairdressing, techniques and cutting, coloring. I think that from the two different institutions that I worked with, Primarily, obviously you're learning every day of the week when it comes to hairdressing, but
Sure.
there was a stark contrast in the style and technique of both places or both institutions. Vidal Sassoon, especially back then, was very much about the lines and geometric lines and certain shapes and strong constructs and haircuts. Whereas Toni and Guy, when I was back then, they were very much about more just disconnected lines and like texturizing and just completely, like, they were kind of a juxtaposition of each other. Like, one was extreme, like very precision, the other one was much more just free flowing and just very much you kind of saw your vision and you went for it. There was kind of the anti-line kind of haircut, the anti-precision haircut. So things like that definitely stood out my training, and I still carry it on today. It's good to kind of get a real in-depth background, and sort of see things from different angles, so that as you learn your craft and the more you continue in it and learn as you grow, that you develop your own style, your own technique. You kind of get rid of all the borders and the sort of the preconceived notions about what a haircut is meant to be or how it's meant to be done. You get as much information and knowledge as possible, and I was fortunate enough to get an amazing education. And you come up with your own techniques and own style, and it just flows. But it comes from having that strong foundation.
Gotcha. Now, I've spoken to different stylists over the course of time, not necessarily in New York City per se, and one of the things that seems to be a predominant topic in some that I talk to, which is the first time around, the very first, if you can even remember the first time you did a coloring or a style on someone, the first thing they said was there's two things that kind of went through their head. First of all was, oh, my God, am I going to be good enough? Am I going to mess up their hair? Is something going to go terribly wrong? Did you have that initial, what I call stage fright, you know what I mean? Like, were you petrified the first time? Or
God.
Talk about the first experience.
Every day, God. Yeah,
really?
Oh God! Well, when you're learning, it's completely new to you. So, and I was creative and I was artistic, but you also, there's chemical elements to learn when it comes to coloring people's hair. There's different things that, picking up the scissors and doing a first cut, chopping into somebody's hair, you're afraid you're either going to cut their ear off, cut your finger off, or completely screw up their hair. And believe me, when I give so much credit to my sister and my mother when I started hairdressing, because they were my guinea pigs in the very beginning when I was 15, 16, starting out, and they got some of the worst haircuts imaginable in that first year, I would think. So it's quite nerve-wracking. That's, I think, the education that I received. The fact that we really had to just work on models. We could not work on the public. So I think by the time it came around to the first paying client, I think I was much more confident and settled and more seasoned. But yeah, when you're picking up that scissors for the first time or putting a chemical into somebody's hair for the first time, it goes with a prayer. Trust me. It's definitely. I don't know anybody who could naturally say, "Oh no, I was totally fine from the beginning." No, I mean, that wasn't my experience.
That's really interesting that you say that. And this is just an observation because, folks, obviously all of you know that I've been to the salon before. And the first time that I met Bernard, all that went through my head was, this man doesn't have 3 seconds of insecurity in his bones. He literally walks, lives, and breathes his occupation. He looks like he isn't intimidated for 1 second. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
So I'm like, this man has total
Not
confidence.
at all. Yeah, and I think that comes with experience. That comes with, the longevity in the business. That comes with knowing your craft. I think everybody starting out have the nerves and, you just don't have the experience behind you to feel confident or comfortable. And even if you know exactly what you're doing, you're still just starting. So it's, there's definitely a fear. But now, I think, the likes of Bernard or myself or whatever, we've been doing it for close to, we're 20-something, almost 30 years. I think I'm 27. I think Bernard, 27 years, and Bernard is probably maybe there
30.
or maybe a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when it comes, I think you must have at least 30 years. So when you have that length of time, it's like breathing. It's become second nature. So you just kind of, the doubt kind of, if you still have doubt after that length of time, you may want to choose another occupation. But it just kind of, and he's he's a natural, he's, he's an amazing stylist. He's an amazing colorist. So he's extremely talented. And yes, he would have no reason to not feel fully confident in his work. It's amazing.
Well, and the thing is, folks, I don't know if you guys have gotten to the salon yet, but just look at them. Everyone you employ there is been beat by the beauty stick, and I literally mean that as a huge compliment. I say that about Canadians all the time. I'm like, they're so beautiful, it's sickening. But it's true. I don't think you've employed one ugly individual. And when I mean ugly, folks, I'm not necessarily meaning cosmetically. I mean they're all charming. They're all lovely. They all dress well. They all talk nicely. Their hair is perfect. It's like you all walked out of a magazine. Did you do that on purpose? It's like, seriously, that's how it is. I'm not joking.
There's always a certain level of professionalism you want to kind of give to your clients. I think, there's a certain appearance you want to have, and there's, people, are coming in to have the experience of being beautified or, looking for a change or something. So you want to inspire them by having a certain appearance yourself. We like to try and think that it's, we're very down to earth. We're very kind of easy to talk to, and sort of, we like the environment to be very relaxed. We don't like the idea of being stuffy or pretentious. But I think it's nice to sort of to present yourself well to your clients, because they appreciate it, and you also want to inspire them if they want to change their look. You want to inspire them into, looking their best too. So it just makes it easier. As far as I think to me, beauty's a lot more than the aesthetics. I think we have some great personalities working in the salon that their charm and their wit and their sense of humor outshines our personal appearances. So I think we're just very lucky to have a great group of people.
Oh, without a doubt, absolutely. And the other thing I wanted to mention was this, because, folks, when you walk in, it is very, very lovely. The presentation, the whole 9 yards. And what's interesting is each of the stylists has their own different style. And when I mean that, I mean just character and presentation and the whole 9 yards. They all have their own systematic way of doing things. And so then I was looking at you yesterday, and the one thing I didn't know was this. Apparently you have yourself a tattoo or two. And I thought to myself, oh, he's working in a salon and he has a tattoo. How does that go over? Because I would have never known if I hadn't looked at you. And I'm like, do they frown upon that? Because I think it's very cool because it's creative art. It's just on your arm. It's not on your hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's true. The one thing, we all kind of have our individual styles. There's definitely, I think Bernard is much more the pristine sort of, has this great look about him. He's, he, doesn't look he ever had, like he had an ugly day in his life. You know what I mean? But he's also, I'm a little bit more, I would probably say, sort of a little bit more outside the box. I kind of have I have tattoos. I like to dress well, but, I think there's a nice way of mixing street art or mixing, sort of like your own individual personality, be it with ink or piercings or whatever, and still, present yourself, accordingly and professionally. I think that, there's, nowadays, anything goes, but, you want to obviously, still have maintain a professional appearance, but I love tattoos. I've got a bunch of them.
That's awesome. I'll have to check that out the next time I'm there. I'm curious now. And folks in Wisconsin,
I'm working on. Pardon?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I said I'm working on more. I'm actually working with. I'm working with an artist doing a large sleeve, so it's constantly evolving.
Oh, my gosh, look at that. See, folks, so even if you have tattoos, you can work in a salon. Even if you're a little off the wall, it's okay, depending on the salon, of course. So you pick the right place to go, clearly.
being off the wall is highly recommended when you're entering the beauty business, especially hairdressing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it adds to the personality. It definitely.
I would agree with you. Yep.
Yeah. It's all about art and being artistic. So I mean, most people that I know that are artistic and that are creative, think very much outside the box, and they don't really kind of play within the lines. So I think that it's the type of profession that's very welcoming of all personality types and of all style types. And it's so broad. You have, like the art of hair in itself is so broad. You've got anything from punk to high fashion, glamour. You know what I mean? So you have a whole lot in between. To a lot of personality clients to cater to. So you can be yourself.
Definitely. Oh, without a doubt, certainly. And Wisconsinites are going to like this fact because I saw him in this lovely photo that was taken in a shoot, and he's got green and yellow sneakers on, what looks like green and yellow sneakers, and it happens to be the color of the Green Bay Packers. So I'm like, oh, my God, the Wisconsinites are going to love that. He's wearing green and gold. Oh, my God, it's so exciting. It just cracks me up. Yeah. I'm like, okay. So I know that way back in the 19th. Well, it's cool, you know what I mean? Because, again, how many people are going to walk around wearing that? Like my son wears purple shoes, and I'm like, you know what, I'm okay with that because they're purple. I get it. It's a girl thing. It's supposed to be a girl thing, but who cares? You know what? He likes it, and he's happy. I don't really care.
Too, so.
Oh, my God.
So I love a little bit of everything,
That's awesome.
It's all good.
Okay, now I have a question relative to back in the day when you first started your training in terms of the hair cutting and the coloring and the correction. So now, learning all you have, it's a twofold question. To those that are listening in that might be getting into it or currently doing either cutting or coloring or any kind of hair correction, give them a snippet or two of advice in terms of when they're first starting out, maybe something to avoid and something to perfect. So this way they can work on one thing that they're not as good at and then something that they can get better at. And then second of all, if I were to ask you between coloring and cutting and correction in terms of hair, which is your favorite thing to do and why?
Okay, I think, let's start off with the easiest thing to answer first, and that's kind of like my favorite thing to do. I love, I guess my most favorite thing in the world to do is color correction. I love taking somebody from, an absolute mess to something that we can sort of figure out together and sort of like taking somebody from total extremes. I mean, I've had clients that I've known to have been blonde in the past that have decided to we've gone like a dark brown, or they've put a box color in or whatever, and then like just the challenge of like bringing them back to a platinum blonde, you know what I mean, within a certain time frame, or you know what I mean. Just that to me is exciting. It involves getting your creative juices flowing. It involves the technique that you've learned. Through all the steps that you might have to take, but it's just, I just love the challenge that corrective color gives me, and I do a lot of it. When it comes to starting out and things to work at and things to avoid, I mean, I would definitely say, get a solid foundation. With your training. I think that far too often, a lot of young, eager people, young, eager stylists, the system is slightly different here in the U.S., where I think it's like maybe certain places with like 1,000 hours of beauty school, and then you get a license, and then a lot of people that, okay, now I'm a hairdresser. I think it's really important to think of what you do as not only is it a craft, but it's a true profession. It's an artistic profession, and that you're always going to be learning and evolving. But it's very important to really listen and learn from people who've gone before you, and take the time to pardon me, take the time to learn the craft through others. To spend a lot more time listening than attempting to, to run yourself. There's so much, there's so much work involved in, learning the craft and sort of mastering a skill. So, take the time, if you're like in your, teens or early 20s, you have the rest of your life to create and do fantastic work. It's really important to learn as much as you possibly can in the first couple of years. If that involves being an assistant to in a salon where you're really going to learn, but you kind of have to start at the bottom and work hard for the first couple of years of your career to do it, because it'll stand to you in the future. Pitfalls to avoid, getting stuck, always, constantly put yourself out to learn, to take classes. Getting stuck in a rut, like feeling like, it's not allowing your creative juices to flow, like challenge yourself. Right. I think that, really, especially beginning, you want to get as much knowledge as possible. You want to learn from as many masters as you can. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but I see quite a few blowout bars and places of that type that are popping up here and there and sort of countrywide or whatever. And I think for a lot, it can be a draw to a lot of people straight out of beauty school, because it's sort of it's a kind of easier job to get into or whatever. But I think it's very important not to stifle yourself and sort of to open yourself up to every aspect of your craft, and then find out what you might want to specialize in, whether it be cutting or coloring or whatever. And I just think that sometimes blow dry bars, they don't offer the stylist enough to allow their creative juices to kind of to flow. So I think it's important to get in a good salon and work hard with some great stylists and learn.
Nice. Very nicely done. Okay, now I want to talk about something that's very important, because some of us are what I call hair stupid. I'm completely hair stupid. When I walked into your salon, when I was getting this done on the day they were opening, just to backtrack a little bit, you guys opened in June of this year, and so they had a media day, and so I'd gone in, and so I sat down and I thought to myself, literally, I'm looking in a mirror with the stylist and thinking, I have no clue what I want done here. I don't know how you want to do my hair. I don't know how I want to look. Absolutely nothing. So when somebody steps into your chair like me, that's hair stupid, and says, I have no idea how I want to look and what I want to do, how do you address something like that? Like, how do you know that you're going to get what they want point on or close to it?
Well, it actually happens more times than not. Like most people will, the funniest thing that normally happens to us is when we have somebody with a certain length hair, and it might be one length hair, and they sit in your chair and they're like, I want a complete change, but I don't want to do anything with the color, I don't want to cut anything off the length, and I don't like layers. That kind of like stops you from doing everything, right? But I think that, so it's kind of like, okay, well, it did not leave me much to work with. But generally, I think when you start to talk to somebody who really sort of doesn't really know what they want, you kind of draw it out of them. You kind of have to get a feel for what they do for a living. What they like on others. You got to work with their hair type. Haircuts for perfectly straight, precision, like straight hair is not going to work. Haircut's not going to, for that hair type, is not going to work for somebody who's got a really tight curl. So you got to distinguish between the hair textures. When it comes to coloring, a lot of it has to do with skin tone and what is going to suit and blend with the natural color, but also work with the skin tone. So you kind of have the process of elimination that you can start with, and then by the time you start talking to somebody, you get to a feel for their personality and just, how far they're willing to push things. Or, if they're maybe more on the conservative side, they might just want a little change, So you just, it comes through just conversation, and really giving a good consultation, a good initial consultation.
Very nice. Actually, I was going to mention that to the listening audience. I know that one of the things that your salon prides themselves on is trying to get to know the inner person. Even though you have that limited amount of time, you're trying to familiarize yourself with who this person is and what is it that they like, what is it that they love about themselves and in their look necessarily that's going to make them feel pretty and or as I call it, a pretty princess. Because when I walked out, that's exactly what I said. I'm like, look at the pretty princess. Of course, it took 2.5 hours to make that pretty princess. Oh, my God. So let's talk about that. Let's say somebody's in New York City and they're not me or someone, or they're coming to your salon for the first time. Now, normally when you advise, let's say they're not doing a regular haircut or a style necessarily. Let's say they want a specialty type service. What can they anticipate time-wise in terms of, do they come in with their hair washed? Is there prep? How long do you think from start to finish is it going to take? Just to give a ballpark idea.
Well, it obviously all depends on just how far they're willing to go, or what kind of change they're willing to do. I mean, we tell everybody to, especially if you're getting a permanent hair coloring, it's best to not shampoo your hair, because you want to have that your natural oils have created a natural barrier to your scalp. So it's never advisable if you're doing color. Any kind of shampooing that needs to be done, you can wait to have it done in the salon. When it comes to hair cutting and restyling, obviously you want to definitely give yourself an hour, if not more, because you want to talk first, especially if it's your first time ever walking in the door of the salon. You want to talk to the stylist. We want to spend time discussing about again what we talked about, like their likes and dislikes, how they manage their hair, how much work they put into their hair, so you can you can formulate a particular style for them. And then, obviously we want to make sure that, we have enough time to perform the haircut. And then, of course, we're going to give you a fantastic blowout on your way out the door. So, and when it comes to coloring, then it's a bit of a different story. It could be as simple as just doing a root touch-up or a single process, to doing a complete makeover where you're doing maybe a balayage ombre that they're going to take longer. That could take anywhere from an hour to, you could be there for 3 hours, just all depending on the services you're combining, and the look you're trying to achieve. So that's why we love to give thorough consultations, like one-on-one. We obviously, it's a complimentary service we provide, because people, you have to kind of put them at ease too, so that they feel that they're dealing with somebody who knows what they're talking about, and then we can, given the time, perform the service immediately right then, but sometimes it might require, depending on the length of what we need to do, might require making a separate appointment on another date or time,
Sure.
just to be able to accommodate all the needs and wants of the client.
Understood. I was looking at your list of services, and one of the things that I didn't see, and I probably forgot to ask this when I was in the salon, are things such as general highlighting or adding extensions part of the services of the salon? I just want to clarify because I wasn't 100% sure.
Well, I personally do extensions.
Okay.
We don't necessarily list them. It's something that we do. A service we do provide.
Okay.
Surprisingly enough, there isn't necessarily, with our clientele base, there's not a huge demand for it. But
right.
It's a service that it's a service that we do provide.
Nice.
And we we have different types of extensions also. So it's something that upon consultation, if a client brings it up and that's what they're looking for, it's a service that we do provide. But
awesome.
It's kind of priced on consultation.
Because
different people with different hair amounts and all depends on what the look they're going for. So all bets are off. Then you can be there from, if you're doing extensions, you can be there from anywhere from 3 hours to 8 hours. I mean, I've had a client that definitely ran 8 hours. Yeah, so it can be a very long process. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah, believe me,
I don't even know how you do that. My
sore
God!
after that.
Oh my God! I hope there's a lot of drinking involved or something.
Well, for them perhaps, but probably best your stylist doesn't drink while they're doing anything for 8 hours for you. It's not going to end very well.
No kidding. Now, I read something about this, and again, we're going back to Cindy being hair stupid and assuming that some of us listening in are not as versed and obviously as geared as you are in terms of this field. I want you to talk a little bit to your audience about the usage of, I know you use hair color beauty oils, and I have not heard of that before, at least. Remember, I'm a Midwesterner, so New York City, I don't know if that's a New York City thing or if that's one of the things you've gained experience in is utilization of it. So tell us what exactly is a hair color beauty oil, what they're used for, and how often you use them within the salon.
Well, the Coiffance is a French line that have brought out a series of essential oils and sort of oils that like have particular types of nutrients in them to help promote either the shine, the vitality, the nutritional value of the hair, the elasticity of the hair. And there are particular oils that they're color safe. You can mix up to 3 different types of oils in with your coloring. It doesn't block the hair color from processing. It just serves as a booster to the hair. So it works as a treatment, but also as it gives luster and shine. And like I said, it's sort of certain particular oils have different nutrients in them that will help promote the health of the hair. It's something that it's relatively new from this company. I've used others in the past, but I just find this effective. It's a very effective product, and the great thing is that it causes no obstruction to your hair coloring. So it's definitely something that it's another great treatment that that can work with the product as opposed to something that you would do before or after.
Sure, definitely. And I guess I should probably ask, does that mean if I use that, then I'll never get gray hair again? Because I know you're going to tell me the way to just not have gray hair anymore. I'm coming to see you every week.
People continually ask me that, and I hope so. I hope when somebody invents that, I hope it's me. A color that I could apply that you'd never have to color your hair again. I think that would definitely help my retirement fund. But sadly, no. No.
Well, I guess that's. I figured I knew the answer to that question. So I guess I should follow it up with clearly most of us, like for instance, I'm not going to lie to you, because most of us live a very busy schedule, and especially those in New York City. When we're running around and we can't get to the salon, clearly we run to the store and we'll pick up a $10 box job, whatever, which is, adequate. It gets the gray out. So I want you to talk to those of us in my audience that are my age, where we're struggling with the grays coming back every month. Talk about the benefit of coming to the salon versus using the box, just merely in terms of, as I understand it, the box jobs, the chemicals, are they healthy for your hair? Because I assume the products that you use at the salon are much healthier, that help with longevity for our hair. And then, of course, obviously, how do you guys normally treat someone for the grays so that we're not having to run there every 30 days? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm sure there's many people that might argue this point different, especially those who create box colors. But,
sure.
First of all, when people look at ingredients, it's like when they look at ingredients of shampoo and they say, well, it's the same product that's in it. But, you may have some similar ingredients or maybe what you might appear to be, basically identical ingredients, but the grade of ingredients is really important. So it's not just about the, everything that's in the color. It's the quality and the grade of the ingredient that really makes a difference on how the hair is going to look and feel afterwards. I personally have not seen good results with box color, and the other thing that I find with a lot of people when they use box colors at home, they have a tendency to overlap, or they have a tendency to put the color on roots to ends, just from the lack of knowledge of knowing what that might entail or might do. I find that box colors can make the hair extremely porous, which helps for the color to take and look initially great. But what ends up happening is that the hair becomes so porous that the color will keep on getting absorbed by the hair, so the hair starts to become very opaque. So while you might have one color on your roots, you end up having almost jet black or a dark brown, from your mid-lengths to ends, because your hair has become so porous that it's just drinking up all of those color molecules. And the more color molecules that it absorbs, the more opaque the hair will get. When you go to a salon, the experience is very different. You're dealing with a professional, obviously, that knows how to apply and and knows how to blend the correct color for you, and the level of peroxide needed, or the level of the level of color that might be needed just for your particular hair type. And also to, when it comes to like root application to full process, the way you achieve that is very different, So, you constantly have somebody monitoring what you need. We like to, never like to oversaturate the hair with too much product, because like I said before, you can end up with hair that becomes very opaque with color simply because of, it's just become so porous. So we with professional color, salon color, you don't get that. You don't get the porosity, the level of porosity with the hair that you do with box color, and and also you have somebody monitoring your hair constantly, to make sure that you don't that you achieve everything that you want every time you go. When it comes to maintaining your color, it really depends on how gray you are and how quickly your hair grows in. I have a client that she has to get a root touch-up every 2 weeks. I have other clients that come every 2 months. So it all depends on the level of severity of your color condition naturally, and the look you're trying to achieve.
Oh, definitely. And of course, folks, he knows what he's doing, because get this statistic. Oh my God. He was named one of the top 5 celebrity colorists by U.S. Magazine. Was that just like a jaw-dropping, oh my God, I am so over myself right now, that is amazing? I mean, how do you even react to that? Like, literally.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Very interesting. It was very unexpected, actually. I have certain clients that I deal with that are in the entertainment business, and I believe at that time I had just made Jessica Biel super blonde for an Aerosmith video, and when she returned, we after that we debated about whether or not to go back brown again or like a darker color, but we kind of kept the blonde going for a while. We kind of changed it up with some highlights, lowlights, and sort of different things like that. I think she landed a L'Oreal commercial because of the work we did making her blonde.
Oh my God.
So that was pretty shocking. And then I just got a call one day from somebody at the magazine saying, hey, we asked Jessica Biel who does her hair, and and a couple of other clients of mine that that I may have changed right around that time. You tend to get noticed when you do something dramatic for somebody. So I think at the time I had made a couple of changes with a couple of my more high profile clients. And so they wrote up a little bio on me, asked 1,000,001 questions, and most of which you can't answer because you want to respect the privacy of your clients. Then bang, smack dab in the middle of top 5, celebrity colorists, in the U.S. Yeah, so it was great. It was a nice achievement.
So now I have to ask a general question, because obviously, we both work with individuals that media and everyone says, oh, look at the big celebrity. So I have to ask this question more so for the people that are listening to you today, which is this, because I think everybody always looks at the people in the public eye and says, oh, I really want to get my hair done like this or this or this. because we all want to look like ABC celebrity sometimes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So just out of curiosity, from a general question standpoint of the celebrities you've worked with, do you find that their tastes are really that erratic? Meaning, I think we assume that because they're a celebrity, they have to be over the top and they have to be very grandiose, in terms of their needs. Is that the case necessarily, or is it more of a job relative thing?
Find it to be, well, if it comes to personality and comes to what they're looking for, it's two very different things. But when it comes to personality, I mean, from the majority, if not all of the clients that I've dealt with that, are in a particular profession or in the public eye or whatever, I have found them to be some of the easiest people I've ever worked with, the most down to earth, the most and I've been lucky enough to deal with some of the most humble people, when it comes to working in certain industries. But I find that sometimes perhaps maybe the people that work around them maybe not be as easy to handle, but generally the people that you're dealing with, the people that you're dealing with, that the true faces, that are out there in the public eye, I've never had a bad encounter. Ask me about their managers or their publicists, we could talk. But
you ain't lying there. Well, let's not get that's a whole other show, Nigel. Okay, literally a whole
exactly.
Other show.
That's a whole other. We could talk for
I
hours
have a
on
word
that one.
for that. Yes, that's right. And we can't use that word on radio right now, so we're not going to do that. But I wanted to ask this question. I'm going to put you right on the spot because one of the ladies besides Lady Gaga that I know you love is Pink. So let's say Pink walked into the salon next week randomly and said, I want Nigel. What would you make her look like? You could do anything to her. She had no direction. Pink's in your chair.
God,
what are you doing, Nigel?
It's so weird. I mean, obviously, this, you always want to get your hands on somebody and transform them. But whoever's been doing Pink's hair and whatever they have been doing, I have loved her hair. I don't think I've ever disliked her hair. So whatever they're doing is I think there was a time when she went through a curl there that was a bit dodgy, but but for the most part, I mean, I love her style. I love her look. And it's kind of hard to transform somebody who's just got it, there's certain artists that, just have a look and it works for them. I can't imagine Pink walking in my door and saying, you know what, I want to have a completely different color and doing a jet black or something. I think I would love her in some of the newer pastel shades. Coiffons have brought out some, and there's other companies like Goldwell have brought out some where they're sort of that dusted rose, those the sort of the high tone blonde colors that have a little bit of extra pigment in them, so that it's not so they're not so outrageous that they're those kind of neon pinks or neon blues. They're sort of a more classy kind of they're a break from the blonde. You know what I mean? You can have and I love those beautiful rose gold tints that are you kind of see out now. So different tones like that perhaps, but I just love her style. I think she's I don't maybe if she wants a total change, throw on a full head of extensions and go for it. You know what I mean? Change up her look entirely that way. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Just to give her something new. Why not? But definitely color-wise, I would keep her light.
Gotcha. I got it. Now, just out of curiosity, because, of course, for instance, the VMAs were just on the other night, so obviously I saw Pink was on there. I noticed that, are there just any new trends out there? For instance, if somebody's listening in and you've seen something, let's say a high-profile person that's wearing their hair, anything that really caught your eye, color-wise, style-wise, anything that you might recommend for just the average, ordinary person?
I think that some all too often people are, I reflect back to the 80s and early 90s when people weren't so afraid of color and people weren't so afraid of the color that, may not be necessarily in nature, you know what I mean, they were willing to sort of be a bit more creative. And I find over in Europe that there's still, very much, they can still work in a professional environment, but they push the boundary of, what they deem like corporate America would find accepting. You know what I mean? Or they kind of think outside. They allow their creativity to show in their hair. So I think pushing the envelope, especially for like somebody who's a blonde, like the toners that I was just talking about, these like great steely blonde or like these rose golds. I think it's a great accent. You know what I mean? Even if it's just a couple of pieces, you know what I mean? It's just something different. It's something, you see celebrities that always take it to the max, right? But I think all of those styles, especially when it comes to color, you can get a little taste of it too. You just don't have to necessarily do your whole head like that. You know what I mean? You can have a peekaboo pink streak, or you know what I mean, or or something that's like a steely gray, which is quite popular now too. So I think that people are, they definitely, in Europe I find that they're much more avant-garde with their hair, but it'd be nice to see people get a bit more creative in that respect. You see it in New York or whatever, but it'd be nice to see, get a bit more mainstream.
I agree with you, definitely. Now, these last series of questions, of course, are about the salon. Not that we haven't addressed them, but we should be point-specific about certain things so people know this. First of all, I'm curious to ask you, because I know you're at the mezzanine level and you're in the Upper East Side, which is on 875 3rd Avenue. So I was curious if you could explain to the folks why was there a particular specified reason for picking that spot and that location to have your salon?
Well, when as soon as you walk into the space, I think a lot of it is self-explanatory. I mean, it's such a beautiful space, and the fact that it's not on street level, it's kind of for clients, it's a little bit more private, but you still feel connected to the city because we're only on the mezzanine level, so we're just on the second floor. So we have floor-to-ceiling windows, so you get to see the whole of 3rd Avenue. You get to see the iconic Lipstick Building, which is right across the street from us. And it's just got such an inviting feel. And for the size of the salon, you feel like you're in a huge space simply because 3rd Avenue, the whole area is opened up to you by just the views from the window. But it also has kind of just a very kind of a quiet feel to it too, where it's we're not the type of salon that's pumping music, or you're not getting a lot of noise from outside on the street. It's kind of it's like, I call it like a little urban treehouse. You know what I mean? It's kind of it's nestled away. It's like you can see them, but they can't see you. It's just a very cool, relaxed atmosphere. So I mean, like as soon as the spot was seen, I mean, it was just like, it was hands down. It was it was definitely where Bernard really wanted to have the space. And I think it's perfect. It's perfect.
Oh, I agree, 100%. But folks, when you go there, look up, because when we walk in, I'm wandering around and I'm thinking, "Is there a name here? Can I find this salon?" And I'm like, "Duh, mezzanine level up." So when you walk in the building, just look up. Literally, they're on the very tail end there, because that was a mistake that I made when I got there. But they have security. If you get lost, walk over to the desk and be like, "Hey, I want to see those cool guys." Do people get lost? Because I could see where that might happen.
Yeah, they do. They do. But, it's funny because, being on the mezzanine, a lot of people think they have to enter the entire building, which you don't. You walk in off 3rd Avenue. As soon as you walk in the front door, you have like an escalator going upstairs. You just take the escalator upstairs, walk around the mezzanine, and we're the last of the stores right before you go back down. So it's kind of ideal. People get their hair done, they can skip right out. It's easy when you know how. And the other great thing about the salon and the building is that you don't even have to leave the building to actually take the subway. We have a great subway station right below the building. So a lot of clients, especially on a cold, on a wet day, they love nothing more than getting their hair done and just hopping on a subway and going to wherever they need to go to. So it's one-stop shopping.
That's just so awesome. Now, we want to speak about the hours, obviously. I know you're open from 10 to 8 from Tuesday to Friday. On Saturdays, it's 9 to 7. So here's my question to you, because you've got yourself a 10-hour time frame most of the times during the week. Do you have a number of rotating stylists and makeup artists, et cetera, that come and go, or do you have more of a set staff? And this question, of course, is more for people listening in. Yeah,
well, we definitely have set stylists. I mean, where there's Bernard and I are constantly there. We also have another couple of stylists where we have Stacey Smoker, who's an award-winning colorist and a Goldwell educator, who's also there, on a full time. Then we have some stylists then that pop in and out that like have their own clients that like to come and utilize the space. People that we've known for years that we're more than happy to share the space with them. So we have we have Bernard and I and Stacey. We were there from the moment we opened to the moment we closed. So
very nice.
You're always going to see a familiar face.
Very, very nice, actually. Now, if those of us that are out there and working, and let's say we absolutely only have Monday off, I'm just curious to ask how flexible you guys are, meaning if somebody wants to, they hear this interview, let's say next week they want to get in, how much flexibility is there? Meaning, should they be booking weeks in advance or a month in advance? What would be a good lead time for folks?
Well, as we're closed Sunday and Monday, I mean, would really need to be something exceptional for us to sort of.
Sure. Oh no,
it's not saying that we would. Not saying that we wouldn't. But there's exceptions to every rule, and we're looking into maybe expanding our days a little bit come the fall. But usually, if you want to make an appointment, depending on what you're looking to make, you want to try. Just for your own comfort and the comfort of the stylist, you want to at least try and figure out something the week before, just because you want to make sure, because especially evening appointments, which tend to be the best for people. It's a little harder to you want to make sure that you have the time. You want to make sure that you have as much time as needed to get everything you need to get done.
I would agree with that, definitely. And when you walk in, folks, one of the things that I saw was clearly you have your front desk, you have your area for your stylist, you have your shampoo area, obviously, and of course, Luis is over there with the makeup area. So here's my question to you, because my experience, folks, when I walked in, of course, this is a media day, so obviously the setup's a little bit different, but when I walked in, I was automatically taken to obviously get my hair washed. So again, my question with the shampooists is, you have them trained and tenured basically to be as amicable as you are in every sense of the word. And by that I mean that they are polite and conversational and they're very engaged and they're very good at what they do. Oh my God, when they put their hand on my head, literally I was like, I'm in love. Like I never want to get out of this chair. So what criteria do you have for people to sign on board? Meaning I almost believe like you have a very strict set criteria for employees to be so engaging because they literally fit so well.
Well, it's very important to, obviously, you want to have, when you're working with the public, you need somebody to, if you're picking a staff member, you want them to be engaging. Obviously having a great personality helps, but I mean, like somebody that, understands, hospitality and how to treat people correctly instead of, how to address people correctly. So there's it's vigorous to the point where it all matters. It all just comes down to the client, and of course talent is most definitely needed, but you definitely have to have a way with people, and we want people to come in and have the best experience possible from the moment they sit in the shampoo chair to the moment they're leaving the receptionist from exiting the salon. So it's very important from start to finish. The experience has to be perfect, or as close to as possible. So, you want to make sure that everybody on your team, everybody in the salon, is on the same page with regard to, how everybody who walks in our door deserves to be treated. And it's nothing but the best as far as we're concerned.
You betcha. And to the services area, I know that you do cuts and colors, of course, styling, treatments, and texturing. Now, if you wouldn't mind, just explain to us when a person needs to come in and have a texturing treatment done of sorts, what exactly does that entail? Because the first time I read that, I had to look it up. Literally, I won't lie to you. So, what is that exactly?
Texture. Well, it usually involves altering the texture of somebody's hair to some degree. We do everything from keratins, relaxers, Japanese straightenings, and perms, body waves. So it just involves, taking somebody's texture from either one extreme to another, or just lightly balancing it or lightly changing it. Right now, obviously, sort of some of the more popular ones would be the keratin treatment, or like some kind of or a smoothing treatment, which generally works for almost every hair type, from anybody who's just maybe like after they shampoo that their hair is a little fluffy or frizzy, or has a slight too much volume in it that they want to be able to control a bit easier. If they've got a time restraint when it comes to working, we want to make sure that that they want to make sure that their hair is as easy as possible to manage, especially if they're very, very busy. The keratin is ideal. It's a popular treatment. Then there are others that are a little stronger, which like the relaxers, Japanese straightenings that would involve definitely a stronger chemical that sort of is definitely going to alter the hair more severely. But with each one, it's tailor made and done specifically for each client.
I understand, definitely. And to those that come in, now is it possible for them to come in and have specifically their makeup done, or is that all part of a package? Just so I understand, because I have a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, generally, we work, a lot. It's generally it's something that can be done, outside of having your hair done. Generally a lot of people that when they're coming to get their makeup done, they're having their hair done too. They're obviously maybe going for a function or an event. So, something like that being so time consuming, you want to definitely book in advance. And generally obviously people know if they have a function coming up, so it's not that difficult to sort of to fathom out and figure in. But yeah, we do, all services can be done separately, but we find that, especially when it comes to makeup, that most people, are having something, they're also having their hair done as well as their makeup.
You betcha. Now, my only other question, of course, being that for the future, because clearly you just opened up in June, for future reference, would we be able to expect to see another salon opening sometime in the future? And second of all, the other thing I thought about was, do you offer teaching classes at all? Do any of you teach?
Education is coming. We're obviously being like a new salon and sort of like and just getting through the whole opening and getting on our feet and obviously it's kind of like everything has kind of has to settle in and whatever, but we're very interested in starting some education programs, especially like utilizing our Monday to maybe to start color courses, cutting courses, different we're having different product lines come in and give education. Yeah, so it's very much a thought. As for another location, I think like it's definitely something that could possibly happen. I think right now the concentration is very much on making everything work out just fine where we are right now. But it's definitely something that definitely it's definitely a thought. Yeah, for sure. The world's our oyster.
That is absolutely awesome. Okay, now we have a couple business things to do before I let you go. First of all, I want to remind you and everybody else, in a couple hours I'll be sending this off to both you and to MJ, a copy of this interview. And I also put it up on YouTube, so you guys will get both copies so that you'll have that, I'd say, somewhere around 2 hours or so. And it's archived, so pretty much anybody can listen to it all year round. So it's not limited to today because most people are at work. That's number one. Number two, I don't want to forget this. You and I have a mutual friend in MJ. We don't want to forget, because without MJ, I wouldn't have came to the media day. I wouldn't have met you or Bernard or been to the salon.
Absolutely.
So to folks, oh my God, I'm telling you right now, you have to find MJ. MJ works for Indra Public Relations, which is indrapr.com. That's spelled INDRAPR.com. Let me tell you why I need to know her. 3 reasons. Again, she could work at the salon because she's that damn pretty. I mean, she is a very attractive woman, very hands-on with all of her clients, and She is. She's very hands-on with everybody she knows, hands-on with her kiddos, hands-on with her clients. She is class, character, total respect for that girl. So MJ, I'm just a huge fan, getting to be a huge fan every day of you. So thanks so much for coordinating this interview. And she's bringing Stacey on the show too, so I'm so excited and intimidated.
Oh, that's
yes,
fantastic.
that's right. I'm afraid of Stacey. I'm afraid of her.
Oh,
in a
don't
good way.
She
scares
so
me.
awesome.
She's so powerful. She's like the bomb. You know what I mean? Like she's that.
Yeah, she's an awesome girl. She's an awesome girl. But yeah, you're very, everything you said about MJ is correct, and then some. I mean,
I know.
She's an amazing woman.
She's awesome.
She's
now I'm gonna
fantastic at what she does.
Oh my God, yes. I want to read off all the different places to find you in the salon, but I purposely did not say your last name because I'm afraid to screw it up. So how do you pronounce your last name?
My last name is pronounced Mullahy. So it's Mullahy. Yeah, Mullahy. I found a lot of people will pronounce it Mullahy, but
that's why I didn't do it. So I didn't have to screw it up, folks. Thank you. Oh, I was just going to say, I'm pretty sure we'll get to that point. So Nigel is, of course, both a colorist and a master stylist at Matii Salon. And just so you folks know, the website, it's Matii salon.com. Nigel is on Facebook. He has both a personal page as well as, of course, Matii Salon has their own Facebook page as well as same name on Instagram as well. Are there any other places to find you or the salon anywhere on social media or otherwise?
Well, we're Instagram. We're all over Instagram.
Right.
We both we all have personal pages, and So I think the two most popular for us are our Facebook and our Instagram. You know, we're working on a Twitter.
I was just going to ask about that because I know you're not on Twitter right now.
I have a personal page on Twitter, but Matii has not. We have not ventured into that yet, but it's something that we're definitely looking into. It's time consuming. So,
tell me about it. Don't I know?
Social media would be so time. Yeah, who knew social media would be so time consuming? But yeah, definitely you can find us on Matii Salon or myself, Nigel Mullahy, or even Bernard is also connected with our Facebook and with our Instagram. So we'd be more than happy to invite you as friends or join our page.
So now we've got to the very end of the show. So two things always happen, and I bet you haven't listened to my show, so you don't know what's about to come. I always do two things at the end of my show. First of all, I surprise you with one or two things, and then I get to tell you what I think of you. So you should probably be afraid.
Okay.
This would be the part where you get a little nervous. So here's the surprise, and I don't think I told MJ this, so this is actual breaking news on the show. I was very, very fortunate and very lucky to be able to go to the salon, as I mentioned, and the look that I came away 2.5 hours later, which I said publicly on social media, I could never be a celebrity because if you got to do this 2.5 hours, like 5 times a week, I'm so not down for it. I absolutely love what the salon does, but I have no patience for this. So I'm like, okay. So this look has become, the look from the salon has kind of become my trademark signature. And so the one thing that I wanted to ask you all is, I don't think I mentioned this at the salon, but I'm coming out with a calendar by the end of this year. And I've decided to use the look from your salon as my cover. And so what I would like to do is to take I want to take it a step further, and on the inside cover, I want to do an entire picture of the whole salon and everyone that works there and put my write-up, my actual article write-up of the salon there, along with a picture of all of you, so that this way you can be recognized, and then when 1 million people buy it, you'll have 1 million people coming to the salon. I think that's a good idea.
That sounds fantastic to us.
It does. It sounds exciting, doesn't it? Well, we'll have to coordinate how to get it done in the picture and all that jazz. So I'm like, first of all, they should know that their look is my cover, which is exciting. I toiled a great deal about it, but I'm like, I'm never going to look that good again. You made a woman almost 50 years old look great, and I got to give you props for that. So that's absolutely awesome. So that's surprise number one. Surprise number two is on a personal note, which is I have already submitted more than one occasion to interview Lady Gaga. So if you'd like to come on and co-host with me and Julie on that show, when I get her eventually, you're more than welcome. So if you'd like, you can help me interview Lady Gaga.
Oh, God, absolutely.
Even though you got to see her and I haven't yet. So I'm like,
I have a list of questions. No, don't worry.
I'm sure you do. I do.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to join in.
Really? That's awesome. Okay, that's a yes.
Oh, yeah,
I like
absolutely.
Yes. We don't like no on this. We definitely don't like no.
Yeah, I have a problem with saying no.
Me too. This is why I'm single, folks. Thanks very much.
Yeah, well, I'm still working with a therapist.
Well, yeah, there you go. The last part of the show is always the best part, which is I get to tell the guests what I think of them. And what I find best about this part is that it's not scripted. This is the only thing that I don't write, and that's because it's just from my heart to yours and from the people listening in so that they get a full grasp of who you are as a person and a professional. So here goes. These are my impressions of Nigel. No, I'm not going to say his last name because I already forgot how to say it because, well, I just didn't do well with last names. So here we go. The first time that I walked into the salon, Nigel may not know this, but of all the people in that room, I was most petrified of him. Typically what happens is, for me in a room, when you recognize someone of great power, prestige, and personality, they're always the most intimidating to you. One of the best parts about getting to know this person on the other end of the phone, along with everyone else in the salon, is that they are of a higher class who treat people with the utmost of respect and humility. That's number one, which I find most impressive. Number two, getting to know Nigel as a person, what I've come to find out is he almost looks like the ultimate rebel, almost like a James Dean, dashing sort of cross between, well, James Dean and Clark Gable, if you will. He's dashing looking. He's dashing when it comes to his appearance. He dresses well. He speaks well. He carries himself with the utmost of class. His coloring and technique is above supreme. And I say this because I've looked at some of the pieces he's done. I've talked to a few different people. I've read the reviews from the salon. And I'm here to tell you, he can walk the walk. It's not a matter of talk. It's a matter of walking the walk. And that, I believe, comes specifically from long lengths of training and tutelage and working with the right people in the right presence and in the right circumstance. You all have built a salon that is supreme, not just because of the people that work in it, but because of the products that you use, the poise that you have when it comes from first walking into the door all the way through each one of the chairs. It's so impressive to me, people that have such a high level of integrity for themselves, for their clients, and for their products, and for all of their coloring and styling, and you name it. I find most impressive about you is that you are as real as you are on your Facebook page, because I was reading all these posts. He's very passionate. He is extremely, particularly weird in the best way possible. I love the word weird and crazy. And when I call you weird or crazy, you have to know that I like you. So that's a good sign. One of the coolest parts about today's interview, one of the best parts about our show today is that I actually look forward to talking to you. Now, let me tell you why that's important, because I suffered a great loss. Someone I love passed away almost 2 weeks ago, and I've been kind of absent of social media and otherwise. And so you're probably the only human I've talked to this much in 2 weeks besides my kids. So it was not only wonderful because you made me smile, but what's even more wonderful is that everyone in your salon made me feel special. You made me feel like a great person. You made me feel pretty on the inside and the outside. And most importantly, from what I hear, one of your staff said, I could make a gay guy want to turn straight. I'm like, bam, who doesn't feel good about that? I'm like, who doesn't want to go to the salon and hear something like that, right? Awesome.
Oh,
so I guess the bottom line, my friend, that is a statement, and it's from your salon apparently. So I have to say three quick other things.
I think I know who said it.
I have to say thank you to you and everyone else in your staff and in your salon, because you make me feel absolutely pretty all of the time. Every time I look at that picture, I think to myself, I am a different person because you made me feel like I was a pretty person. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you taking an hour out of your schedule to come in here and talk to me. I'm excited to see if Bernard will say yes and we can get you in the calendar. I'm excited because the last thing I want to tell you is this. I was wondering if the next time I come around you can make me look like Wonder Woman. Don't say you can't, because I know you saw the movie I just saw last night. That's my new thing. I want to look like Wonder Woman. I'm doing the Wonder Woman costume. I'm doing the whole thing.
If that's your dream, we'll make it happen. Don't worry. I'll take care of it personally.
He's so awesome. Absolutely. Yes. That's great.
And if you don't have the hair, we'll find it. Okay? We will
I was just going to say, everybody. That's the question I forgot to ask. Do you guys ever here's my other question. I have my film festival in October in New York City. So here's my question to you guys. Do you guys ever do hair or because I know Luis has, but do you guys specifically, yourself or Bernard, do you work in film at all, or would you work with film directors or producers? Because then somehow I can get you into my film festival.
Absolutely. You know, I've worked on sets before. I've worked with different indie groups and different directors, and and it's something that we're more than willing to. We've both done runway work. I mean, we've both worked fashion shows,
right?
Over the years. I mean, so it's definitely something that we would always be willing to get back into.
That's awesome, because we got to talk about that, because I can't really get anybody into my film festival that's not film related, but we can certainly get you to the masses somehow, and I think that's awesome. That's a whole other thing. That's great.
Yeah.
I cannot thank you enough. I hope I've done you justice. I hope you've enjoyed yourself on the show.
Absolutely.
I really do.
Absolutely.
Otherwise,
Otherwise,
MJ will kill me. I'm like sitting here thinking MJ's going to kill me. She's going to kill me.
No, it's been an absolutely fantastic experience. Absolutely.
I know, right?
Thank
it's like
you
an
so
hour
much.
and 15 minutes is like 10 minutes, right? It goes so fast.
I
it's
know,
like,
right?
See?
It's gossiping. I love it.
I know. So note to the salon people, yes, that's right. We can do it in an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm like, yay. So shout out to me, because 2.5 hours is killing me, folks. I'm telling you, I love you to death, but that 2.5 hour thing, there's got to be more booze or something. I'm telling you, right? I mean, it's like, I know it's like, you can't rush. You cannot rush a masterpiece. I get it.
Yeah, you can't rush perfection, but yeah, you can definitely liquor it up a little.
I love it. That's awesome. All right, my dear, you go back to everybody at the salon. Please send them my love. Tell them I said hello.
I will,
especially
of course.
Luis. I think it's adorable, and Danielle and everybody. And tell Stacy I'm looking forward to interviewing her. And please stay in touch. I sent her a friend request, and please talk to Bernard and get back to me and let me know if this is all okay with the boss. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you so much for your time. It's truly
Anytime,
appreciated, and you're fantastic at what you do, and we really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Cindy. Take care.
I'll be in touch, honey. You too.
Great,
Bye-bye.
fantastic.
Tell me he's not fabulous, right? I'm not going to lie to you folks. I have to say that experience at the salon, I don't get to go there very much, and I'm not just saying this because these people are my friends. Matii Salon is above and beyond when it comes to service, when it comes to superior products, and also when it comes to treating you as if every person is a pretty princess. And I meant every word I said to Bernard, to Danielle, to Luis. You are all top notch. I can't thank you enough. Again, the website is Matii Salon, but it's spelled Matii salon.com. Nigel, his last name is spelled Mullahy. He is both the master stylist as well as a actual, as he mentioned, celebrity colorist. He has a Facebook personal page, and they are also on Facebook as Matii Salon, Matii Salon. Instagram, Matii Salon. And, of course, as you heard him say, Twitter handle, they're working on it as we speak. As you heard me say, hopefully we can get them integrated into Art is Alive Film Festival, and they are my signature look on the front of my calendar. So please be sure to participate in getting one of the calendars because, of course, you're going to love to read all about them. And more importantly, please visit the salon because, of course, they do fantabulous work. Just look at the picture that they created. That's a work of art from Danielle, the stylist, from starting at shampoo, going to Danielle, going to Luis. It's just a masterpiece from start to finish. So please patronize them as much as humanly possible. Again, the hours are Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 8 p.m., and Saturdays from 9 to 7, of course, closed on Sunday and Monday. Again, big love, big hugs, and big thank you to MJ of Indra Public Relations. Anybody, New York City or otherwise, she is top shelf in her profession. It's Indra, INDRAPR.com. So please, folks, whether it's supporting MJ, whether it's supporting the salon or both, please do so. Tell them I sent you, of course. I was just alerted during the course of this interview that my Wednesday interview has now been canceled. So I guess we're now at a TBA status, meaning to be announced. So watch my wall, watch my Facebook page. Otherwise, please, Thursday, 3 o'clock Central Standard Time, the woman herself, Golden Globe winner, all of you recognize her, Joanna Cassidy, Blade Runner, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and most recently, Odd Mom Out. So please tune in. If we do not get a show tomorrow, Thursday, 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. Thanks again to my lovely Nigel. You all have a wonderful afternoon. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.
At Honda, we know young people love new words, so we made one up too, Summerbration. And it is tight, just like the 2017 Fit at 0.9% APR. So hurry into your local dealer for the Honda Summerbration sales event from KBB.com's best value brand.
Visit your Metro Milwaukee Honda dealer today during the Honda Summerbration sales event.
Based on 2017 Brand Image Awards from Kelley Blue Book, visit KBB.com for information. APR financing offers available for well-qualified buyers. See dealer for financing details.